Hi, you're on a rock floating in space, surrounded by more rocks, gas, and a bunch of nothing. Mainly nothing. Oh hey, look at that. The rocks are going around the gas. Hold on, what the heck is going on here? To understand, let's look at a little bit of physics. Actually, scratch that. We need a lot of physics, and maybe philosophy, and maybe even a touch of metaphysics. Strap in. 1. The laws of physics. Who wrote them? All right, let's start with the big stuff. Science works because the universe follows rules. Newton figured out that objects move the way they do because of forces. Einstein showed us that time itself is bendy. And quantum physics? Well, that's just weird. But the big question is, why do these laws exist at all? Science is great at explaining how things work, but it's weirdly silent about why the universe even has laws in the first place. Did the universe just decide to follow rules? Is there a giant cosmic rulebook? Or is the order we see a signature of something deeper? The famous physicist Eugene Wigner called this the unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics in the natural sciences. Basically, math somehow describes reality perfectly. But why? Some argue this suggests an underlying intelligence, a mind behind the math. 2. The fine-tuning problem, a little too perfect. The universe is ridiculously fine-tuned for life. Change one fundamental constant, and boom, no atoms, no planets, no us. Some examples. If the strong nuclear force were just 2% stronger or weaker, atomic nuclei wouldn't hold together. No chemistry, no life. If the ratio between the strength of electromagnetism and gravity were slightly different, stars wouldn't form. No heat, no light, no life. The cosmological constant, which governs the expansion of the universe, is fine-tuned to 1 part in 10 to the power of 120. That's like hitting a bullseye smaller than an atom by throwing a dart across the universe. This level of precision is insane. Some scientists call it a cosmic coincidence. Others say it looks suspiciously like someone calibrated the universe on purpose. One explanation? The multiverse. Maybe we're just in the one universe where things worked out, but even that raises a deeper question. Why would there be a multiverse at all? The Big Bang. Something from nothing. Once upon a time, 13.8 billion years ago, everything that exists exploded into being. Before that, there was nothing. No space, no time, no physics. Just absolute nothingness. Then, boom, everything. According to the standard model of cosmology, the universe had a beginning. But here's the thing. Things don't just pop into existence without cause. Imagine you're sitting in your room and bam, a car appears out of nowhere. You'd have questions, right? If the universe came from nothing, we have 2 possibilities. It was caused by something beyond space and time, which sounds a lot like God. It just happened, which is weird because in science, things don't just happen without cause. 4. Life. The ultimate coincidence? Let's talk about DNA. You, yes, you, are made of about 37.2 trillion cells, each containing DNA strands packed with 3.2 billion base pairs of information. Your genetic code is like a software program, except way more complex than anything humans have ever written. Think about that. Coded information inside every living thing. How did nature write it? Evolution explains how life adapts over time, but it doesn't explain how the first self-replicating molecule came to be in the first place. Evolution's credibility itself is questioned on numerous occasions by many scholars and scientists in different fields of science. Random chemistry? Possible, but incredibly unlikely. A guided process? Some scientists, like Francis Crick, co-discoverer of DNA, suggested an intelligence may have been involved. He even proposed directed panspermia, the idea that life was seeded by an advanced civilization. Something even beyond that? 5. Consciousness. The final puzzle. You're aware. You're thinking. Right now, you're processing these words, asking yourself what's for dinner, and possibly questioning reality. But where does consciousness come from? Some argue it's just neurons firing, but neurons are just atoms. And atoms, as far as we can tell, don't think. So how did a bunch of mindless particles somehow wake up and start questioning their own existence? Even the best neuroscientists can't explain why you experience being you. It's called the hard problem of consciousness, and some say it points to something beyond the physical world. Could it be that consciousness itself is fundamental, but something woven into the fabric of reality? Some scientists and philosophers suggest consciousness might not just exist in the universe, but might actually be the foundation of the universe. And if that's the case, what's the ultimate consciousness? So, does science prove God? Well, looking at how it does reveal a universe that's fine-tuned, mathematically elegant, and seemingly designed for life. Even if you don't believe in a creator, it raises some big questions science alone struggles to answer. Why are the laws of physics so precise and unchanging? Why is the universe fine-tuned for life? Why did something come from nothing? Where did life's complex information come from? Why do we have consciousness at all? The more we learn, the more reality seems strangely intentional. And in my personal opinion, a creator of the universe, a god, is the reason for all these so-called coincidences. It doesn't make sense to be here without a purpose, a reason behind all this. And a god handling the universe, creating the universe in the perfect picture for us, in which it is fine-tuned for life. But one thing is for sure. The more we explore the universe, the clearer the answer is to us. So you're on a rock, floating in space, with billions of other rocks, and somehow out of all this chaos you exist, thinking, feeling, wondering. How do you think that came about? Leave your answers in the comments. I read every single one. Until next time, bye-bye.